All right, let's get right into it. You see it everywhere, right? The AI revolution is absolutely booming. But what if I told you that this whole thing, this entire boom, might be built on a financial house of cards? Today, we're going to dig into a theory that suggests the AI gold rush might just be heading for a major bust.
And it all kicks off with this really weird puzzle. Picture this. On the exact same day, AI giant Microsoft gets, and this is the term used, shellacked. Its stock dropping 10%. Meanwhile, another giant, Meta, soars 10%. How on earth can two of the biggest players in the same field have such wildly different days? It just doesn't seem to add up.
Well, the answer isn't just about some stock market drama. It actually points to something way bigger, something called a potential doom loop. Yeah, it sounds ominous, and it is. It's this dangerous feedback cycle that could be quietly forming right at the center of our economy, all fueled by the AI hype itself.
Okay, so let's unpack this doom loop theory. To really get it, you have to understand that the entire AI boom might be standing on a pretty shaky financial foundation.
The fuel for this whole AI engine is something called private credit. Now, this is not your normal loan from a bank. We're talking about a massive, multi-trillion-dollar market of private lenders pouring money into companies. And guess where a huge chunk of that cash has been going lately? Yep, straight into AI, basically bankrolling this entire expansion.
And the really big players are starting to get nervous. PIMCO, a firm that manages over $2.3 trillion, put out this really stark warning. They said, investors are turning a blind eye to mounting risks. Look, when a company that big sounds the alarm, you've got to pay attention.
So, this all leads to the big, crucial question, right? We've got our engine, AI. We've got its fuel, private credit. What happens when that fuel tank starts to run low? And this is basically how the theory works. It's a four-step cycle. First, AI adoption, it starts to level off. Second, because fewer new companies are jumping on board, investment in AI starts to slow down. That leads to step 3. The private credit folks who are funding the whole thing get spooked, and that river of cash starts to dry up. And that's when step 4 kicks in, and the whole cycle just repeats, spiraling downward. The scary part is, it doesn't matter where it starts. A crack in any one of these steps could start to bring the whole thing down. So, you might be wondering, is this doom loop thing just a theory, or are we actually starting to see the cracks appear in the real world? Well, let's take a look at the data.
Okay, check out this chart. It shows the rate of new companies adopting AI. You see that huge spike? That was right after the whole GPT thing blew up. Those are what you call the easy adopters. But look at what's happening now. That incredible growth is flattening out. It's like we've hit a wall, and getting the next wave of companies to sign up is proving to be way, way harder.
And it's not just about getting new companies to buy in. Even inside the businesses that have adopted AI, the usage just isn't growing. As you can see here, the percentage of employees actually using generative AI at their jobs has totally flatlined. It's not getting woven deeper into how people work every day.
And this right here, this might be why. This chart is huge. It shows how AI has actually affected productivity, and the answer for the vast majority, a whopping 69% of firms, is no change. Absolutely no change. For all the hype, all the money, that promised productivity miracle just isn't showing up for most businesses.
So this brings us to a really simple but really powerful question. If AI isn't actually helping most companies make more money, if it's not boosting their bottom line, why would they keep paying those super expensive subscription fees year after year?
Which, of course, brings us full circle, right back to our original puzzle. Microsoft stumbling while Meta soared. Let's see how this doom loop theory perfectly explains their opposite fates.
It all comes down to how they make their money. On one side, you have Microsoft. Their whole game is selling subscriptions, or seats, for products like Copilot. This creates a gigantic renewal risk. If all those companies we just looked at aren't seeing results, they're not going to renew. But then you look at Meta. They just use AI to make their existing ad business better. Advertisers pay for results, not for a seat. So that whole renewal risk thing, it just disappears.
And for Microsoft, the risk is incredibly focused. I mean, this number is just staggering, 40%. 40% of Microsoft's committed future revenue, that's $250 billion, is tied to one single cash-burning partner, OpenAI. If OpenAI has problems, it's not just a small issue. It's a massive blow to Microsoft's entire financial picture.
So, with all these cracks starting to show, what's being done to stop this loop? Well, this brings us to a concept the source calls billion-dollar bail-ins. And note, that's not a government bail-in. This is a bail-in, where a company's own partners and investors have to pump in cash just to keep the whole machine from grinding to a halt.
See, the problem is that, for a while, the whole AI funding world was acting like a perpetual motion machine. You know, that impossible machine that just runs forever. Money just flowed in a circle between partners. But this ignores a basic law of physics and, well, finance, friction. And in this world, that friction is the massive, undeniable amount of cash these AI companies are burning through.
And the amounts of money needed to overcome that friction are just astronomical. We are talking about a potential $100 billion mega round just for OpenAI. Now let's be clear, this isn't really new money for growth and innovation. It's a bail-in. It's designed to give OpenAI a massive cash infusion, just to keep the current cycle from breaking.
And this isn't just theory. Let's look at a real-world example. CoreWeave, a super important AI infrastructure company. In December 2025, its stock cratered, plunging 64%. By the end of that same month, the company was reportedly running on fumes for cash and had to beg its lenders for better terms. Then, just weeks later, who comes to the rescue? Its partner, NVIDIA, swoops in with a $2 billion investment to prop it up. That is a textbook bail-in. And we see this exact same playbook with Elon Musk's xAI. The source uses this wild description, calling it a money-destroying virus that's constantly seeking a host to survive. It's just been sucking in cash from all over the place just to stay afloat.
So when it needed another massive pile of cash, where did it get it? It got a $2 billion injection from another Musk company, Tesla. And this only happened after a really controversial shareholder vote was, let's just say, creatively redefined to push the deal through. It's the same pattern, propping up a cash-burning AI company with money from a more stable partner.
So here's the bottom line. The AI revolution, it's real. The technology is incredibly powerful, no one's denying that. But this analysis raises a really critical question. Are its economic foundations, this whole massive structure of hype, private credit, and bail-ins, are they all just built on sand?